What up? This is Robert Ory.
Ory, three-pointer. Buries it!
You might know me as Big Shot Bob.
To Ory for three. Oh, unbelievable. This guy is off the charts.
What's going on, Big Shot Bob?
Robert Ory from downtown.
I guess the better question is, what isn't going on? Good God. Welcome to the Big Shot Bob podcast. B-Dog Brandon Harper, I'm Rob Jenners. And thank God we got seven-time NBA champion Robert Ory because, I mean, you said it before we started. It is an NBA week, man. Yeah. Holy cow. I couldn't, every time I thought, so we do a show sheet for every show. I type up like notes and stuff on what's going on. Every time I thought, I'm like, all right, good, show sheet's done. I would refresh Twitter. There's like 10 more stories. I'm like, God damn it. Like, all right, then delete this and put this in. And then I would go, okay, show sheet's done. Hit send. Two more stories. Like, you've got to be kidding me. So I guess before we get into the guts of it, I mean, dude, where do you want to start? There is just so much shit going on.
I think we would start with the thing that started first, that happened first.
So we'll go to the draft.
Right.
Makes sense. Was
there really anything to really talk about in the draft? You know what I mean?
Just the one thing that we were texting about, which I thought was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, because it's just, I don't know, it's, to me, this is stupid. The fact that Rich Paul was calling teams and saying, don't draft Bronny. To me, that is just, who was it on ESPN? I've got so many people on this sheet, I'm having a hard time keeping track. This is one of them on ESPN talking about, this is Woj, I think. Or no, I don't know who the hell it is. Somebody else. Somebody on ESPN.
Rich Paul's calling teams, don't take Bronny James. He's telling them, do not take him, okay? He's saying, don't take him. If you take him, he's going to Australia. So he has a plan and he has a place.
Yeah.
I think that might be Zach Lowe.
I don't think it was, actually. But there have been so many NBA talking heads on my television this week. I can't keep track of who's who half the time. Yeah. Between Shams and Woj and freaking Tim Legler, and I mean, spin the wheel of people I've been staring at this week.
That was a guy that I've never seen on ESPN before, because I just happened to turn in like, who is this dude?
And that might have been Tim Legler, for all I know.
Oh, no, legs.
That wasn't Tim.
That wasn't legs. All right, it was one of the panel of many people who was. So I don't know. For me, it's like. It screams bad look for me. Like, just if he goes, he goes. If he gets to where, but it was like they had this plan in place, and they're like, they're taking him at 55, and we are going to clear the road of anybody else.
I don't really think any organization was going to touch Bronny, because I think at the end of the day, how much people might badmouth LeBron. I think there's a respect factor there, where there was let him have this. He's had everything else in the league. Let him have this, where he might have the opportunity to play with his son. And I also think that a lot of other teams are like, are we really going to waste a pick on a guy we haven't really seen? There's no disrespect to his talent. We haven't seen him. You didn't see him in high school. You didn't see him in college. You only saw him on highlights. And, his highlights are just, warm-up dunks and, the workouts he's done with his father. So yeah. I think a lot of teams are like, who cares where he goes? We just going to move on from that and try to get a pick that can best suit our organization.
Yeah, I mean, to go from, because we heard Rich Paul saying not too long ago, he just wants to hear his name called. Regardless, this has, LeBron and Bronny are two separate clients. One didn't have to do with the other and blah, 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 blah.
That's a fat load.
You gotta agents, and I think Rich Paul and, his agency and everything that he has is absolutely phenomenal. I know some people, who work, within that agency to a degree, and, he's providing opportunity and jobs for a lot of people, especially people that look of color. But you also know that he's still an agent. And agents can sometimes say one thing to the media and have another thing going on behind closed doors. So the whole, they're not connected, whoop-de-whoop-de-woo.
Yeah,
okay.
I believe that about as much as I believe JJ and LeBron didn't talk about the coaching hire.
Exactly. So
we're on the same plane with
they knew. And then when we saw that report coming around, I'm like, it's almost kind of null and void, because like Rob was saying, look, I don't think any team was really going to touch him. There was no team that was really going to draft him for the simple fact that, one, knowing that drafting him gave you no shot of LeBron coming to wherever you are. And then number two, they probably didn't have him graded that high enough to take in the second round anyway. So there's only one option there. And that's the team that LeBron James is on. So, and that's what happened.
Of course. Go ahead. Sorry, Rob.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, at that point, though, what's the point of putting the whole Australia thing out there? Is it just to if in case anybody in front of you was even kind of considering it? It's just to say, well, you're wasting your pick. It's to waste your pick if you're going to pick them.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think that I don't like this situation, and I'm going to tell you why. And it has nothing to do with the Lakers drafting, but I'm looking at it from a person who's been drafted, a person who had that opportunity to walk up on stage and get that hat. And LeBron, his name is LeBron, but Bronny has talent. And I'm thinking that a lot of the things he's doing is taken away from what he could, sit back one day and tell his kids, look, I went to college. I did this in college. He didn't do anything in college. I went to high school. He didn't do anything in high school because Harvard Westlake beat him, and so they never won anything. Now you go like on draft day, Dad, where were you drafted? 55th. Well, that's the 52nd round. And like for me, I was so happy I let Powers B talk me into going to the draft. And I look back on that day, I walked across that stage, got my hat, and met the commish. That's a moment that every basketball player dreams of. And you think about Bronny James had this dream ever since he knew what his dad was doing. I want to follow in my dad's footsteps. Dad was the number one pick. Now that's taken away from him. He sat at home with his family, and even when his name was announced, he didn't look happy to me. And so for me, that is a moment every dude wants, man. And that was taken away from him. So I feel bad in the sense that if he'd have stayed maybe 2 more years in college, he could develop into this player that would have had that moment to walk across that stage. And for me, that's the part that I look at and I'm like, it ain't about just getting to the NBA. Yes, it is, and no, it isn't. It's about getting called by the commission and standing up on that stage doing draft day.
Yeah. I definitely get where you're coming from. We've all thought maybe he could have stayed another year or two, to strengthen his draft stock to where, hey, he could possibly move up into the first round and be there at the draft to be called up to shake the commissioner's hands on stage and receive the hat. I think Bronny is in a very, very unique situation, and him and Bryce is coming up next, and he's going to be in a very unique situation as well. Now, Bron may not be in the league when Bryce is ready to come out, but they're both unique where they have that James last name, and that name carries so much. It carries more weight than any former player who now had a kid that plays basketball. It carries more weight than the Anthony last name. It carries more weight than the Arenas last name. It carries more weight than the Boozer last name. This is LeBron James' son. He's been running the league for forever. And so whether he was a first-round pick, second-round pick, or he is undrafted, this is what it's going to be just from the simple nature that is his son. And he carries the lineage, and he's the next one, quote unquote, in line. This is the next James that is going to possibly be in the NBA, regardless of where he's drafted. Which is why you have we've never had this much coverage for a 55th overall pick.
Oh, never. Not even close.
And we probably won't ever again.
No. So
my thing is, it's unique. It's the exception. It ain't the rule. This is an exception. Now, am I saying that he gonna go on and kill the NBA? No. But what I'm saying is, this is a unique situation. The NBA is all about storylines. They are the first father-son duo to play on the same team in NBA history.
It's honestly, for me, and you're right, B, it's a business decision here. That's all this is. Because to see LeBron and Bronny play on the same court, father and son in the NBA, will sell tickets. And that's what this was picked. That's ultimately what his pick was for. Now, to Rob's point, should that be what draft night is about? No, not really.
No, I'm just saying it's just like he doesn't have a story to tell his kids. You know, here's a story that I played with my dad.
Well, yeah, my dad got me drafted.
But that's a story.
That's the story. The story is my dad got me drafted.
It's not a great story for you as an individual.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
That's what I'm saying. I'm coming from an individual
It's completely 100%
standpoint.
tied to his father.
Yeah. And so sometimes, you know, as a man, you have to step out on that ledge by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that he doesn't have that opportunity. That's not a story he can tell for him. It's like, okay, I did this because of my dad. And I get that, and I'm proud of him. Like, if Christian would have been able to play with me, or Cameron, or Nick, I'm like, okay, fine. It's fine.
It's ridiculous. We may never see it again.
Dog, do you?
Right.
And for me, that's just where I came from as a father. But I do know this: Derek Fisher, myself, let's see who else. B. Shaw, all of us are waiting. So when our child is ready, damn it, because the Lakers have set a precedent where they say it's all about family. Damn it, you got one pick left in that last or second.
Yeah, but your ass ain't playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, man. Your ass ain't out there. No. This doesn't carry over to you guys.
Christian better be fucking drafted by the Lakers.
This does not carry over to you guys. This does not carry over.
I've won 3 championships in Laker uniform.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying it doesn't carry over. If you were sitting on the bench in LA, that'd be different.
Oh, and then they might need to throw Trevor Ariza's son in there too, because he played for the Lakers.
All I'm gonna say is this: even though he may not, well, like we said, there is a story. There is that the fact that you get to play with your dad and you're the first dude to ever do it. But my thing is, there's a way for him to still write his own story. It depends on what he does in the league. It depends on the work that he puts in to be able to, at some point in time, crack the starting lineup of the Los Angeles Lakers in the future. It's all about that. Now, I understand that, you know, that name is always going to carry weight, but LeBron ain't going to be in the league forever. He may have a solid 2 more years left.
What happens if LeBron just all of a sudden body just gives out on him, he retires? What do the Lakers do then? You know, now you got this kid, you don't promise him something, had him to come out early, and he ain't ready yet. It's so many times in the league where guys ain't ready,
right?
And they come out, you never hear from him again. I know his last name carries a lot of weight. Would he flounder in the G League? Would he move on to something else? Would he go overseas, Australia, wherever it may be?
He might.
And for me, that's what you have to think of, you know, down the line also. And I think because now in this day and age in the NBA, they giving you 3 years. Think about the guy from Tennessee that the Lakers drafted, who I think is going to be one of the best players, but won't get to shine because he's behind 4 players on the Lakers. And his stock fell because he was 23 years old. 23. That's some bullshit. And these GMs are just some of the dumbest motherfuckers I've seen. They guys, think about it. Your stock dropped because you're 23, but yet then you talk about guys don't hit their prime in the league until 26, 27. It's the dumbest shit ever. The GMs are such followers. The NBA is such followers where, okay, everybody's shooting threes like Steph Curry. No, motherfucker, you ain't got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson on your team, so you shouldn't be shooting threes like that. So everybody starts shooting it. Everybody goes small ball. You ain't got this. And now, let's draft a damn Frenchman #1 because the Spurs did it. So go back to when the Spurs drafted Manu Ginobili and everybody, shit, we need to get a foreign player. And you think about it, they got Tony, they go Petrus, remember Mikael Petrus? Everybody thought was going to be good.
For the Magic?
Yeah, all these guys, they draft because the NBA is such followers.
It's a followers league, man.
Sure.
It always has been.
It's a revolving door. You know, at some point what has happened before will happen again in some type of way, shape, form, or variation. I don't know what the Lakers, I don't know. Once LeBron retires, depending on what Bronny looks like, I don't know. All I do know is this. From a media standpoint, from a name standpoint, it is different. It is unlike anything we've ever seen, and we know how the media operates. That's going to follow him all the days of his life, whether he is suiting up to be a Laker, or he going to be suiting up in the G League or suiting up to go overseas. There are going to be cameras on him. Why? Because when your last name is that heavy, it just is what it is.
I'm waiting for that one asshole reporter to come in and so how does it feel to have your dad get you drafted to the Lakers when you don't deserve it or something like that?
LeBron training him on that. They got him trained for that.
Sure, they have a stock response. Yeah, sure.
There's no way you have that name and not have him trained like that.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me give
that day when he forgets.
we have. This is going to be a show, by the way, because this is literally the first topic of like 30. I do have a couple things from the LeBron story, and we'll move on. Stat of the week from Joe Pampilano, the kid that just got drafted into the NBA. While LeBron is still averaging just as many points, assists, and rebounds as he was 17 years ago.
Crazy.
That's nuts. So it's not like his game has fallen off. He's holding steady. Everyone had jokes about the Bron and Bronny thing. My favorites were it's been discovered that LeBron James is sleeping with his newest teammate's mom. That's hysterical.
One too. Yeah.
And I don't know why Bronny wants to play with his dad. Imagine being a 20-year-old millionaire on the road trying to get hose, and your pops is with you everywhere you go.
Wow.
Which I thought was hilarious. Which I thought was hysterical.
And then my thing also is thing about being on the road. We all assume LeBron is, the great family man. But now that you have your son on your team,
oh boy.
now you kind of be like, hey, don't tell your mama.
Game flirt.
Hey. What happens on the bus stays on the bus.
Or what happens when they get home after a game, Bronny's pissed. Savannah asks what's wrong. I don't know. Talk to your husband. He wouldn't pass me the ball. If he'd have passed me the ball, we'd have won the game.
The first time he breaks out a talk to your husband, oh no. That's hysterical.
That is hilarious. But this is entertainment.
I love it.
Sports and entertainment are kind of merged.
And you know what? Say whatever the hell you want. It's a story, and it's super interesting, and it's fun. It's fun to talk about.
And let me just say, every dad will love to have this story.
Oh my God! Of course,
to play with their,
to play at the highest level of a professional sport with your kid.
Think about this, and I'm pretty sure they'll have this in the works because I heard it somewhere on social media. The first Laker home game, or at some point in time during the season, you gotta have, if they don't already have it, father-son night, where Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr. comes out. All the guys that have played together or have been in the same sport together, you have a father-son night where all the fathers bring their sons out. That's a marketing genius type of plan. And then the fact of the matter is the Lakers are already like the damn Beatles whenever they go to every arena. What do you think is going to be like this season?
I would say do a Father's Day promotion, but the Lakers aren't going to be playing in June. So.
All I'm saying is we know that the Lakers is in LA. They're not just about basketball. They're about business. And this is a way that the spotlight stays on the Lakers. The spotlight's always on them, but this is a way that you keep it on them.
This is the way you make money.
Yeah.
At least for a season.
Yeah, at least for a season.
Or two.
Or if you're lucky, two.
Hey, we all know that dude ain't going to be on the floor at no time in a crucial time with that passing the ball. He ain't going to be on the floor.
He going to see the floor at some point. He going to see the floor.
Hey, he going to see the floor, but he ain't going to be out there in crunch time.
No, I don't think he'll be out there in crunch time, but like I said, this is about optics.
You know what? I wonder if they're going to let him play in Vegas. Because, they hold him out of a lot of shit.
Definitely need to.
Yes,
they
absolutely.
Definitely need to. Whether or not they do or not, I don't know.
They're going to take advantage of like I said, this is a business.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They are going to have him out there. You know why?
No, that has nothing to do with the Lakers. That's all NBA right there.
You're right. But from the Laker business is NBA business.
I was saying the NBA wants him. By the way, we saw it. We saw Summer League what it did, and we saw Vegas when Wemby was out there.
Right.
So if LeBron James Jr. is out there, you are going to get eyes on Summer League.
Well, it's going to be, and I guarantee you, more of the eyes going to be half going to be haters because
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because everybody's money spends the same. So who cares?
Yeah. Because guess what? You could be hating on me, but there's no way you can hate on me if you're not watching. You're watching just like the person who loves it.
Yeah. The other humongous story. You want to go to Paul George? I mean, there's so many big stories. I guess we could just move through
He's probably the next one. Yeah.
All right. So Paul George and the Clippers part ways. He signs a 4-year, $212 max contract with the Sixers. Philly, my goodness, also gets Tyrese Maxey back on a 5-year, $204 million extension. They come to terms with Kelly Oubre Jr., however you say his last name, 2 years, $16 million. Eric Gordon signs in Philly.
He does?
Yeah. As of this morning, and then they lose Tobias Harris to Detroit on a 2-year, $52 million deal. Someone posted the lineup and said, who's going to stop him? And people just started reposting it with like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees and toes. People circling the lights of the court.
Somebody circled one of Paul George's knees and both of Joel Embiid's knees.
Stop him. Humongous move for the Sixers.
Injury.
Huge move for the Sixers.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? You think this works for them?
If they're healthy, that's and everybody says it. It's
the key to everything.
Paul George. We talked about AD. Paul George hasn't been on the court much. Even though Joel Embiid. Think about it, Joel Embiid had knee. Then he comes out. He had Bell's palsy. It's like he just slept rock. He keeps getting these injuries, and you hope he can stay healthy because he's such a dynamic player. But if this team can stay healthy, they're gonna make some moves. They're going to make some moves.
Tim Bontemps from ESPN, real quick.
The Sixers now have the best big three in the NBA. It's really not close. With the three guys they have now, all of whom were all-stars last year, you got a lead guard in Maxey, you got an elite two-way wing in Paul George, you've got maybe the most dominant big in the league in Joel Embiid. They fit together perfectly. They complement each other in every way on the court. They're versatile. Paul George is an elite shooter. You have two elite shooters now, given spacing around Embiid. They can go out and get any kind of role players that can fit alongside them. They're versatile in a lot of ways. They have the highest ceiling now of any team in the league but the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, they definitely getting, I thought if this team was going to get to the next level, it was really going to be a Paul George or bust type of thing. They needed another scorer. Now, like we just joked about, but it's serious business. They're fighting attrition. It is the war of attrition when it comes to this team. It's like this every single season. And it's even more pivotal now because Paul George over the years ain't been the healthiest. If you look at from 2019 to last season, the reason why the Clippers were never really successful, it was either because Kawhi was out or both him and Paul George were out for a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
And so you're going now to a team where you're going to a team now with Joel Embiid, who seems like something's happened with him every year, a 7-footer who came into the league with injuries and has had injuries throughout his career. So if they can stay healthy, they're going to make some noise because they're a supremely talented team now. But they have to stay healthy. An injury to either one of those dudes that sidelines them for a while, kiss it goodbye.
Big time.
Okay. For what it's worth, Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George are due $629 million from the Philadelphia 76ers between the three of them.
Yeah.
For what this is worth, the Clippers gave up 7 first-round picks, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Danilo Gallinari, for Paul George.
If Paul George,
signs off in free agency.
Rob, let me tell you this right now.
7 first-round picks.
If Paul
7.
George cannot claim anything else, one thing that he can claim is, I built the Oklahoma City
So I was going to
Thunder.
say the city of Oklahoma City because, I built that franchise from the ground up. That's all me right there. Mm-hmm. So what about Jayson Tatum? Jayson Tatum signed the biggest deal in NBA history. We knew this was coming. Nothing breaking about this. But
Still crazy to see, though.
5 years, $315 million Supermax extension.
Hey.
He'll be averaging, give or take, about $53 million. No, $63 million a season. 60-something. Yeah, it's bananas. Largest contract in NBA history. They also got Derek White back. Locked him up to a 4-year, $126 million extension to stay in Boston. Have you looked at the money?
Yeah.
We just joked about what the Sixers are due, the three guys. Here's the money.
Hey, it's amazing if you in the last part of the last year of your contract and you win a chip, boy, you gonna get paid.
Dude. Jayson Tatum, 5 years, $314. Jaylen Brown, 5 years, $304. Drew Holiday, 4 years, $135. Derek White, 4 years, $126. Porzingis, 2 years for $60. Those 5 guys are committed to $939 million in money due by the Boston Celtics, and they just put the franchise up for sale. They signed $1 billion worth of contracts and went, who's buying? I mean, that's freaking insane.
Hey, we just won a chip, and we got the star players locked in.
Locked
so, hey,
in for the next 4 years.
You're going to make some money, but you're going to pay a lot of shit on that luxury tax.
All right, ready for the luxury tax numbers? For context, the largest luxury tax bill in Celtics history was $69 million. They had to pay that bill in 22 and 23. The largest luxury tax bill in NBA history was $176 million. Had to be paid by the Warriors last season. The Celtics' estimated luxury tax bill in 25 and 26, $250 million.
Damn.
Luxury tax alone.
It's not my money. I don't care.
But like, I mean, where are they coming up with this kind of money? And I know they're the Boston Celtics. I get it. There's certain franchises that they have value way beyond. Mm-hmm. The Knicks, the Lakers, the Celtics, probably the Warriors now because of everything they've done. Mm-hmm. But this kind of money? Mm-hmm. This is like out of control money.
Well, go ahead, Rob.
Hey, you spend it because you're going to sell the team, so you don't give a shit.
I guess
you let that be someone else's problem.
But what does a championship earn you? Aside from a banner and a championship, and all the guys get rings, and the city goes nuts. Can you? I always look at stuff from the profit loss. Mm-hmm. Like, how much are we spending versus how much can we make? Do you make that kind of money?
Well, you're going
on a championship.
The merch. You're gonna sell that merch. You're gonna get it back right there. So, and you don't get all of it back, but you're gonna get some of it back. So the merch.
Okay.
Also, the NBA is gonna sign a new TV deal soon.
Yeah, that's true.
So, when you start talking about splitting the pie up amongst all of these owners when it comes to the TV revenue and all other things when it comes to the league, a billionaire is willing to spend this type of money if he knows his team is going to be successful. If he knows his team has a chance and has a window to win. Because they're going to make their money anyway. We've seen numerous franchise and NBA, NFL owners still make buku money and they're losers. You know why? Because when it comes to the revenue sharing, I'm going to get my $200 million, they're going to get their $200 million, and we all going to sit here and be happy. Oh, losing is nice. I ain't. Oh, yeah, look at him drop that ball.
I don't know anybody any money.
You know?
Yeah.
And I still get to make $200-300 million plus whatever I make on merch, what I make on food, what I make on this, what I make on that. Oh, yeah, I like losing if I can do this. But that's just the way it is. So now you got a Celtics team that's winning.
Yeah.
Profits just going up. The value of the team goes up when you win.
Okay.
So.
Just bananas money. I mean, just bananas money. But I think we knew the Tatum thing was all coming. Klay Thompson. And excuse me, end of an era.
He
Golden
turned
State.
down more money to go other places too.
What do you have? 4 years, $80 million from the Lakers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
let's do Chris Haynes real quick on that point on ESPN. This was Chris Haynes on the Lakers deal.
I was told the Lakers made a pretty compelling offer. It was around a 3-4 year mark, somewhere along the lines of $20 million per. They didn't get their guy, and it was going to take obviously a sign and trade scenario. So that had nothing to do with LeBron James's decision to take less. It was going to take a sign and trade to get Klay. It just did not happen. I was told that it would have likely involved D'Angelo Russell being a part of a deal. And from what I was told, the Warriors weren't interested in bringing back D'Angelo Russell. And so the Lakers right now, they are still right now trying to identify who that player is going to be. They are seeking a star caliber player.
So that's Chris Haynes reporting on ESPN. Where they stood. I can't, but why would he? I guess my question is why turn down the money?
I know why.
Well, because at
California?
the end of the day, yeah, it's a state tax. You know, you think about it. You're going to make more money in Dallas, and you're going to have an opportunity to win more in Dallas. You know, I hate to say that because I do broadcast for the Lakers, but you think about what the Mavs have over there. You know, they just coming off a finals run, which I don't think they're going to get to next year. No, but everybody sees like, oh, they made it to the finals. You had me being better. You just happen to be in the right spot. The reason you got to the finals. Mm-hmm. And so I think that has also, you know, if you look at, you know, Klay Thompson's career, you know, do you really want to come to the Lakers? do you really want to go to Dallas? Which one would you rather go to? Because, everybody, it's not easy playing with the Lakers. Because you look at the way D'Angelo plays, you look at the way Austin Reeves plays, you look at the way LeBron plays. Klay doesn't fit in it because all those guys are trying to get there. They're not like Luka or Kyrie where they penetrate and kick. Even though Luka is probably the most selfish basketball player in the league, he will find you at moments, So I just didn't think that fit for Klay Thompson. If I'm a player and I'm Klay Thompson, I choose Dallas. And it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with fit.
Yeah, that's a fact. So, you know, I never thought he was going to end up a Laker. It just didn't feel right. The Lakers had to make.
I hope he would.
LeBron wanted him to. LeBron was hoping too.
And the Lakers had to move too much in order to make room for him. And in order to move something, you got to get another team to agree to it. And they just couldn't do it. Whereas with the Mavericks they had a much clearer path to getting him, and we saw it with it happening. The Lakers just right now, it's just nobody. You have so many teams who aren't willing to continuously not see the Lakers acquire certain players. They don't want to see it. They think you're the Lakers anyway. You got LeBron. You got Bronny. We're not.
I never thought that would come out your mouth.
I'm just saying.
Us 5 months ago when we all said that's what's going to happen.
Look, there are teams in the league that are not willing to help out the Lakers. They don't want to see the Lakers get certain players. They don't want to see the Lakers have a certain level of success. So therefore, and there are certain players that look at the Lakers and say, man, I ain't trying to go to that dysfunction. We're not winning there. We're not close to winning there.
Yeah, and word on the street is a lot of people, a lot of GMs, a lot of agents don't want to deal with Rob Pelinka. So, and so it has a lot to do with your image and stuff like that. So, and it's hard. You think about nobody wants the Lakers to compete and be good. They've been good for so long.
Can I ask you a question? Is that an indictment at all on D'Lo? Because the Warriors were like, no.
I think that has a lot to do with it also because nobody wants to touch D'Lo. And now you think about your starting backcourt is D'Lo and Steph, and that's probably the worst defensive backcourt in the league. So you don't want that.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think? I guess since we're on the topic of the Lakers, so now the Lakers, you lost out on Valanciunas, you lost out on Klay Thompson. The next name that's really been in the buzz is DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan, I've seen everywhere.
I don't think DeMar is going to go just because of the bad blood. You think about it. Before he signed with the Chicago Bulls, he gave the Lakers every opportunity to sign him, take less money, and they said no. And so I don't think I don't know DeMar. I've only met him like once. But to me, I'm coming from what my mindset would be. I'm like, dude, I ain't coming there because I gave y'all the opportunity to have me. I bust your ass for 35 every time we play y'all. I'm not coming there. So
do you? Not that it may not matter, because obviously DeMar is a star and he's a bucket getter. But do you think he fits what JJ wants to do?
Nobody knows what JJ wants to do.
Well, they say apparently JJ wants the team wants to shoot threes. He wants to shoot a lot more threes.
I've heard that.
Nobody knows what LeBron wants, so we don't.
JJ doesn't know what he wants because LeBron doesn't know what he wants yet.
Exactly. And his thing is like you can shoot a bunch of threes, but DeMar DeRozan is not a 3-point shooter.
Yeah,
the Laker team is not a 3-point shooting team.
Right.
And the whole thing is JJ comes in with this stupid idea if he's want to shoot a bunch of threes. You're not the fucking Splash Brothers in Golden State. Use what's the best, your best tool in your toolbox, and that's fucking AD. And AD don't make him shoot threes because he sucks from three. And that's the whole thing with these.
Nor is he built to be a player that should be shooting threes the whole game.
And coaches come in like, oh, this is my game plan. This is what I'm gonna do. No, dude, analyze your team, adjust your game plan to the fucking personnel that you have. Don't just come out and say, oh, we're gonna shoot a bunch of threes. That's not who you are. That's not what you have. And so if he comes in with that mindset and that the staff or the coaches, the brass or the Lakers let him do that, it's a recipe for disaster.
Okay. There's also a storyline attached to Klay that I want to talk about briefly. This was from Jason Dumas, who's a sideline reporter for the Warriors and covers the team. Quote, Klay has been equally as exhausting behind the scenes as Draymond Green. It's not as loud. It's not as loud because it's not stomping on someone's chest. If he's slamming stuff on the bench and sulking and doing that on the court, how do you think it is in practice? How do you think it is in the locker room? It has been uncomfortable. It has. It just doesn't come out as loudly as Draymond. I've not heard that before about Klay. I mean, I've seen the skulking around and stuff when stuff is, but I mean, everybody does that. I haven't heard anything to that extent.
I remember, we were doing the podcast a couple of years ago when they had Jordan Poole, and we talked about how when Jordan take a bad shot, the body language of Klay. And so when you used to you doing your body being able to compete at a certain level, and it doesn't do that, and then you got this young upstart guy doing things that is detrimental to the team, it can be frustrating in a lot of ways. And Klay probably has let that out a few times, and I think this reporter probably caught those few times and think it's all the time. I don't know. Neither of us I'm not in the locker room, after meeting Klay and getting to know Klay, it just don't seem like Klay, but it could be Klay.
Yeah,
he is. I heard what Shannon Sharp was saying the other day, and I do kind of agree.
What's Shannon say?
Well, when Klay got his extension, when he got his 4-year, I think it was like 140 or one,
whatever it was.
He missed two of those years because of the Achilles and the ACL. Mm-hmm. So he was saying, did they stop paying you when you got hurt?
When he said that was the most ridiculous fucking thing Shannon Sharp. I love Shannon, but that's ridiculous because you can't, if you get injured, this ain't the NFL, Shannon.
Right.
That's why the word guarantee is in your contract. And so when he said that, I was like, no, dude, don't work that way. But that was ridiculous on Shannon's part. Yeah, you're gonna pay me because I got a contract and I got guaranteed in it.
Now, do you think the Warriors did Klay? Do you think they owed him another contract? Because basically Klay's standpoint is, I've done so much for this organization, which he has.
And y'all paid Draymond.
And you paid Draymond. And at one point, even before, they paid Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
So he's saying that he feels a way because he feels as though you owe me. Look, I've done probably more for this organization than I've done more for this organization than Wiggins.
Yeah, 4 fingers though.
And you paid Draymond, who even though his production ain't the same, he can't stay on the floor because y'all suspending him all the time. So what do you think about him feeling as though he's owed another deal?
Well, it boils down to loyalty. We always talk about, is there any loyalty in sports? And I've always said, hell no. You think about it, one of the greatest players in baseball had to go out to free agents for the Yankees to pay Jeter. And there's no loyalty in sports, and players got to understand that. They think, okay, I dove into this wholehearted for 12 years he was there?
13.
13 years? And they're like, oh man, thanks for your service. At the end of the day, this is a business. And a lot of players forget this. It's a business. And if you was in the same position and you was a business, and I'm not saying everybody's like this, your productivity versus how much money I'm paying you. Yeah. And I got these young kids over here that are doing better than you. I hate to say this, but I got to move on. I know, and it's a difference in, you being a Kobe Bryant, a Michael Jordan, or a Magic Johnson, or Larry Bird. These are iconic players. You're an excellent player, but you haven't reached that iconic level yet. Yeah, Splash Brothers and all this. You did all this stuff with 36 points in a playoff game in one quarter and all that. Whatever you did. But at the end of the day, we got Steph Curry over here that people want to play with, that we can still maybe win a championship. We got to get rid of you because the money doesn't make it a smart business move.
Yeah. And he's missed, to B's point, missed so much time. Yeah. And he's never really been the same type of player since the injuries. And I feel like, I always think of it in the broader spectrum, too, of, okay, the Patriots didn't sign Tom Brady back. If any man on the planet was probably owed a lifetime contract with an organization, it's the guy that took him to, 10 Super Bowls or whatever the hell it was? So, and then what does he do? He goes off and he wins another Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. So if you're Klay Thompson, you go, great. I'm going to get Dallas to the finals. We're going to win one. Yep. Go win a ring in Dallas. Show them. You know what I mean? Were you owed anything? It's hard for me to say that anybody in sports is owed anything, even the all-timers. Because we've seen many, many guys go on and play for different teams and go do different stuff. I've never thought, there are plenty of guys who have done it, who've managed to find a way to stay. It's really hard to stay. Kobe did it. It's freaking almost impossible to do the stuff that guys like him and Magic and Bird did in their days. I mean, we saw it here in Atlanta. We did 20 seasons of Chipper Jones playing baseball in Atlanta. How the hell does that happen unless you don't take some discounts and make some things work? I don't feel like Klay was at a point where he was like, well, I'm not going to sit here and take a garbage contract just because you guys want me to stay in Golden State, and since you're not paying me what you're paying the other guys, I'm going to go find a paycheck. I'm going to go find a better place. It happens in sports, like Rob said. Teams break up, you move on. So weird, just weird. Chris Paul to the Spurs.
I don't understand that one.
Lobs.
Who else? But who else wants Chris Paul? Chris Paul is at the point now where he
got waived by the Warriors.
Yeah, it's no more ring chasing. Now it's just about where can I go to prolong my career?
Who wants to play with me?
Right. So it's like
you can still do that in a position to win a championship.
Where though? Who wants him? It's just another team for him to go to.
It is. It's a 1-year deal. It's $11 million.
Yeah.
The Warriors waived him. He had, I think it was due 30 or something from the Warriors. They obviously didn't want that. They moved him before his $30 million was set to guarantee. Mm-hmm. Of course. Stat of the week, Chris Paul won games on Victor Wembanyama's 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, 9th, 16th, and 18th birthdays. And the tweet of the week was, it's fair to say he wasn't playing, his birthday isn't in June, which I thought was great. So.
But I will say this, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Chris Paul, we've always known as a, a guy to put, an orchestrator on the floor, quarterback on the floor, a guy that can put guys in position to win and succeed. And this is Lob City. And he is going to give Wemby every opportunity. He's going to help take Wemby's game to the next level. So this should be good.
Yeah, we'll see. It should be fun. We'll see if it works out.
Yeah, we'll see if he can stay on the court.
True.
Him too. So
we have a whole bunch more deals, man. Donovan Mitchell got his extension, 3-year max deal with the Cavaliers, includes a player option for the 27-28 season, $150 million for 3 years. So Cleveland gets a new head coach and a big new deal for Spida.
No surprise there.
Nope.
Yep. That's really no surprise. That's why they got rid of the coach.
I guess so. And I'm anxious to see what this means for Darius Garland now, too. So,
I think that's the deal. I would have hoped to see him go to the Spurs instead of Chris Paul. But who knows? Maybe Chris Paul can mentor him. He still got an opportunity to go there. So, I think the best thing for Darius Garland is to get out of there because that situation is not good for him because you go from an all-star to like a third or fourth thought. I don't like that for him.
Okay. Now we'll see how that shakes out. KCP to the Magic. Not bad. Contavious Caldwell-Pope, 3-year deal, $66 million. Gives Orlando another piece. That was like the surprise team for the postseason for me.
Yeah.
Was how well the Magic played against Cleveland.
Yeah,
I would like to know the reports of did Denver offer him anything? Was he not happy in Denver? Because you think about this, you go from a situation where you can win a championship next year. Let's be honest, they got a good ass team, and now you go down to Orlando where you ain't got a chance to win shit in Orlando. Yeah, you're gonna make the playoffs, but you ain't beating the Celtics, you ain't beating the Sixers. You might not even beat the Miami Heat. They healthy if they get there. Jimmy Bucket's back, but
yeah,
it's like I would love to know what happened to Denver because that'd be twice Denver has 3 times Denver has let key players go. Just because they think, okay, we got the Joker and we got Murray.
I think it's more so about it's been money. I mean, he's won a title there, and now at some point in time, once you win a title somewhere, now you start looking about, okay, where can I get the most money? And I don't think Denver was offering him $22 million a year, and so. You go to Florida where there is no state income tax, and you're getting $22 million
fucking
a year.
No income, no state tax, man. I'm gonna get us a shirt for this podcast that just says no state tax.
Hey, that's the best, baby.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure to what degree that played a part. But if I was a betting man, I would put a little money down on that's probably one of the reasons he went to Orlando. And the simple fact that they're an up-and-coming team, and they needed a shooter. And KCP can shoot the ball. He can play a little defense. And so I think it's a pretty good fit down there. So he gets his money, and he goes somewhere where he's kind of needed.
Yeah. I think for me, you look at that move, I'm like, what is the Denver organization doing? Or they just say, oh, we got our one ring, we happy, let's move on.
No, I think they're just they feel as though, okay, you still got Jamal Murray, you still got the Joker, and you still got Michael Porter Jr. So you still have those three. You
just named 3 people who don't play no damn D.
Hey, you're right, but they never played any D when they won the title either.
But they had KCP to help out on the guy they needed to guard. And they had Bruce Brown, that we don't talk about because he's known for a season that helped out. The key players, Uncle Green. And so it's the players. It's amazing how, like we talk about these GMs, sometimes they don't value the middleman enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
No, that's true. Story we started to briefly talk about before the show started, and we're going to get all the way around back to it. Dejounte Murray to the Pelicans. I have to give a shout-out to the New Orleans Times-Picayune for the headline From a Hawk to a Pelican. Getting the Hawk to a joke in there. I was like, good job, well done.
Yeah.
New Orleans Times-Picayune playing on the Hawk to a girl.
I just realized what you was talking about.
Oh, it's that Hawk to a girl that's been all over
she everywhere now.
Instagram and Twitter. Her 15 minutes, though, is going to fade quickly. She's like, I might start a podcast. And I'm like, by the time you get that fucking podcast off the ground, we're going to be on to the next stupid meme on the internet.
Yeah.
So there you go. You get Dejounte now and Zion playing together.
And look, we talk about the West. Don't forget about New Orleans.
Well,
New Orleans, if Zion can stay healthy, he had a healthier season last year.
He did.
Until he got to the playoffs. But
quick disclaimer.
Well, we had to get there. But I don't know what they're going to do with B.I. I think he's under contract one more year. I know they've been trying to trade him, but teams got to be able to extend him. And at the number that he's wanting,
it's going to be crazy.
That's crazy. But when you got Dejounte, you now have, Zion. What's my other guard over there's name? They used to play with Dame.
Call him.
Yeah, CJ over there.
CJ.
You got, and my thing is, you still got Herb Jones over there, the defensive master, and Herb Jones. They got some good pieces over there. And adding Dejounte is adding another guy who can score in crunch time. We saw him numerous times this year in Atlanta take over some games. And he is a dog.
And the thing about it, you have a guard that can guard Shai Gilgeous. You have a guard that can guard Luka. People that they need to guard. Because, let's get, what's the little Calderon? What's his name, little short guy?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, he can't guard nobody. And he can guard him, but he can't guard because I'm saying height and strength-wise, he's just not a big enough body.
I'll say this. Dejounte is great at steals, so he can get his hands in the passing lane. I'm not saying he's a really good defender. He's better than Trey, but that ain't saying much. I'm not saying he's a really good defender, but he'll fight over screens and he will get his hands in passing lanes. He's been one of the best in the league over the last 3 to 4 years when it comes to stealing the ball. So just his temperament, just his attitude, just the way that he approaches the game, I think it fits really well in New Orleans.
Yeah, like you said, don't sleep on the Pelicans, man.
They building something, boy. If Zion can stay healthy, they gonna be something.
And where does it leave the Hawks?
Well, there are a lot of other moves that need to be made. We knew at some point in time they were either going to move Dejounte or Trey. And I've always said that Dejounte was the easier to move. You get 2 first-round picks back for him, and you get Larry Nance Jr., and you get one other guy. And we'll see if the Hawks keep Larry Nance because he's on an expiring contract. So
his Larry Nance boy's been killing him, though. He's like, you got traded for a 5th grader. They talking about the picks. They got, I think the guy or something was going to be in the 5th or 8th grade or something like that. So.
And so the Hawks still, who've been obviously outside of trading Dejounte and obviously having the number 1 pick, they've been very quiet. there's still some other moves that need to be made. I didn't know what you're going to do with Clint Capella. I need to know what you're going to do with DeAndre Hunter. I know that contract is not attractive when it comes to DeAndre Hunter, when it comes to his production.
Yeah, but you're not starting to have a lot of choices.
He's not been healthy, and he's not the player that you thought he was going to be, but you cannot continue to hold on to him at that number and thinking you're going to get more out of him than what he's going to give you. So there are some moves that still need to be made here in Atlanta that I'm just waiting on.
Yeah, going to be a long road for the Hawks.
It was weird because I remember one of the guys was talking about this the other day, and I've always felt the same way. I mean, so many guys live in Atlanta but don't want to play in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked.
It's a problem we've had for a long time here.
Yeah.
A lot of people live here, not a lot of people want to play here. All right, breaking news, a little bit of breaking news here. The Nets are probably trying to move on from Ben Simmons, which I feel like has been a story for like the last 3 years.
So sick.
I know.
He was even in the league.
I know. The current offers right now for Ben Simmons, zip, zero, and zilch. I don't know who wants to eat that contract. Shaq is ruthless, by the way, because there was an Instagram post about Simmons' 2K19 rating was an 87. His 2K25 rating is a 66. And Shaq comments under it, should be lower.
It should be low because he don't even play.
He's not wrong.
Do y'all know that this man is still making like $30+ million a year?
He's owed $40 million this season. He has played 57 games for the Nets over the last 3 seasons.
Crazy.
How many games has he played in his career?
That's a good question. Not nearly enough.
That's a great question. Let's look that one up real fast.
That is not. I guarantee you, it is not. Whatever the maximum amount of games is, he probably ain't played half. Boy, you talk.
I probably have more playoff games than he has career games.
How many playoff games did you have?
360 something.
332 total games. That man has made a mountain of money. He has played 332 games.
You talking about robbing at gunpoint? Come on, dog.
That's nuts.
That man should be in jail for life. The way he's stealing, he should be in jail for life.
He's made $163 million to play 300 games in the NBA.
I can't even be mad at him. Though. Injuries are a part of the game, and I feel bad for him. He is the new Sam Bowie of the league.
Bro, that is the most. Just him alone. That is the most expensive bench ever.
That's just
and it's one person
by himself.
Yes.
Oh, all right. We had a monster show this week. I purposely did not plan a game in this week's show because I knew we were going to go super long with NBA stuff. But I'm going to close it out with Big Shot of the Week. It's going to go to a gentleman named Javier Herrera. Javier Herrera is the Dodgers bat boy. Did you see what he did this week?
Oh, yeah. He saved.
No, I didn't see this.
He saved Shohei Ohtani's life.
Yeah, he did.
In the third inning of the Dodgers' 4-0 win against the White Sox, a Kiki Hernandez foul ball came zipping toward the dugout. And, I mean, Ohtani's like on the top step. And the ball boy's like right in front of him. And this ball was going straight for Shohei Ohtani, and ball boy just got his hand up, and barehanded this thing.
Just caught it,
and pulled it down.
Barehanded?
Barehanded, and hands it to Ohtani like, here, you want this? Because this was about to murder you.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I don't know. I don't want to know how bad that injury could have been. That thing was zipping in 100 miles an hour off the bat, flying into the dugout. And dude just got his hand up just enough. So they pay it off, by the way, the day after. It was like on Friday, he got to meet with the media. They had like a whole media scrum for the bat boy who freaking, and
That's
Ohtani's
nice.
Posting on social media, my hero, in all caps.
Forget all that. If you're Ohtani,
what do you do for this kid?
You better cut him off a nice little piece of change.
By the way, I say, what do you do for this kid? He's 38. The bat boy. Really? He's 38 years old.
He didn't look. Oh, I gotta go look at that picture
I know,
again.
he's 38. So I'm like, yeah, you put my kids in college.
Yeah, I need a nice little. I got a mortgage to pay.
Yeah, for real.
Y'all are funny.
Well, I mean, like you gotta break them off somehow, right?
Yeah. Hey, but you know what we didn't mention though?
I'm sure I was gonna ask you before we closed. What have we missed? Because there's so much happening.
I think OKC made 2 really nice moves.
Yeah,
okay.
They did.
They got better defensively.
They did.
They got Isaiah, and then you got Caruso. They needed some defense. And think about it, Caruso,
You got Caruso pretty much for nothing because everybody's still high on Giddey, who I'm not high on, but I'm really high on Hartenstein. I think those two pieces are what they needed. They needed some size and they needed some defensive prowess. So I think OKC, to me, they always give grades. I'm giving them a B+ right now.
Okay. Yeah, I thought those were both good moves, and the Caruso Giddey move. It's a good move for OKC, man. We talked about it, I think, on last week's show. They made out like kings in that move. Well, it's been a crazy week. A lot going on.
And it was going to be more by the time we meet again.
I was going to say, by the time I save this episode and get it posted, 25 more things are going to happen. So just keep us updated. If you see something you want us to talk about, hit us up on social media at Big Shot Bob Pod, Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. I try to retweet at Rob Jenners as much as I can when I see news breaking just to get it out there. And I try to tag Rob, who never responds. So.